are speaking English, huh? Only, no German.
No, I don't speak German.
Okay.
But it's okay, you do whatever you do.
Yeah, we can speak in English, no problem. Everyone understands English here so far. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We are continuing to read from the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, 4th canto, 17th chapter, text 36. Thank you. Nunang janari hitang ishvaranam. Nunang janari hitang ishvaranam. Asmat vadaistat gunasargamayaya. Asmat vidaistat gunasargamayaya. Nagyayate mohita chitta varmabis. Nagyayate mohita chitta varmabis. Tebhyo namo viraya shaskaribhyaha. Tebhyo namo viraya shaskaribhyaha. Nunang janari hitang ishvaranam. Asmat vidaistat gunas sargamayaya. Nagyayate mohita chitta varmabis. Tebhyo namo viraya shaskaribhyaha. Yes, please. Janari. Yo namo viraya shaskaribhyaha. Nang janari hitang ishvaranam. Asmat vidaistat gunasargamayaya. Nagyayate mohita chitta varmabis. Tebhyo namo viraya shaskaribhyaha. Ladies? Nunang janari hitang ishvaranam. Asmat vidaistat gunasargamayaya. Nagyayate mohita chitta varmabis. Tebhyo namo viraya shaskaribhyaha. Nunang janari hitang ishvaranam. Asmat vidaistat gunasargamayaya. Nagyayate mohita chitta varmabis. Tebhyo namo viraya shaskarebhya. Thank you. Nunang, surely, Janai, by the people in general, Ihitam, activities, Ishvaranam, of the controllers, Asmat Vidai, like me, that of the personality of Godhead, Guna, of the modes of material nature, Sarga, which brings forth creation, Mayaya, by your energy, Na, never, Gyayate, are understood, Mohita, bewildered, Chitta, whose minds, Vartmabi, way, Debya, unto them, Namaha, obeisances, Vira Yasha Karebhyaha, who bring renown to heroes themselves. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. My dear Lord, I am also the creation of one of your energies, composed of the three modes of material nature. Consequently, I am bewildered by your activities. Even the activities of your devotees cannot be understood. And what to speak of your pastimes? Thus everything appears to us to be contradictory and wonderful. Purport. The activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in His various forms and incarnations are always uncommon and wonderful. It is not possible for a tiny human being to estimate the purpose and plans of such activities. Therefore, Srila Jiva Goswami has said that unless the Lord's activities are accepted as inconceivable, they cannot be explained. The Lord is eternally existing as Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in Goloka Vrindavan. He has also simultaneously expanded Himself in innumerable forms, beginning with Lord Ram, Lord Nrsimha, Lord Varaha, and all the incarnations coming directly from Sankarshan. Sankarshan is the expansion of Baladev, and Baladev is the first manifestation of Krishna. Therefore, all these incarnations are known as Kala. The word Ishvaranam refers to all the personalities of Godhead. As stated in Brahma Samhita 539, Rama Dimurti Shukalani Amena Tishtan. In the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, it is confirmed that all the incarnations are partial expansions, or Kala, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. However, Krishna is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. One should not take the plural number of the word Ishvaranam to mean that there are many Godheads. The fact is that God is one, but He exists eternally and expands Himself in innumerable forms and acts in various ways. Sometimes the common man is bewildered by all this and considers such activities contradictory. But they are not contradictory. There is a great plan behind all the Lord's activities. For our understanding, it is sometimes said that the Lord is situated in the heart of the thief, as well as in the heart of the householder. But the super soul in the heart of the teeth dictates, go and steal things from that particular house. And at the same time, the Lord tells the householder, now be careful of thieves and burglars. These instructions to different persons appear contradictory. Yet we should know that the super soul, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has some plan, and we should not consider such activities contradictory. The best course is to surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead wholeheartedly, and being protected by Him, remain peaceful. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 4th canto, 17th chapter of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, entitled Maharaj Prithu becomes angry at the earth. Mukam karoti vachalang pangung langayate girin yat kripa tangahang vande Shri Gurun dinataranam. Om jnanatimirandasya jnananjana shalakaya chakshurun militang yena tasmai Shri Gurave namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. I will read again the verse. My dear Lord, I am also the creation of one of your energies, composed of the 3 modes of material nature. Consequently, I am bewildered by your activities. Even the activities of your devotees cannot be understood. And what to speak of your pastimes? Thus, everything appears to us to be contradictory and wonderful. I cannot see anyone. Sorry, Suryadev. Yeah, thank you, much better. Thank you. So, Mother Earth is speaking about the wonderful nature of the Supreme Lord, and that she herself, she cannot understand all the Lord's activities, and it seems to her also a bit contradictory, but at the same time also wonderful. And it is said actually that someone conditioned, a conditioned living being, cannot understand transcendence. Yeah? Transcendence is always something we wonder about. How can it be? Yeah? Eternity, we have no idea about eternity. We cannot imagine eternity. Yeah? I recently heard a lecture by Niranjan Maharaj. He was speaking about giving a class to some children, and one of the children asked, who created Krishna? Then he had to explain eternity, anadi. There is no beginning. Anadi means there is no point in time when something came into existence. But for our brains, this is very difficult to grasp, very difficult to understand, because we are bound, we are conditioned, we always think in terms of when does it begin and when does it end. We have this way of thinking in terms of time-bound forms. And the transcendence, the Supreme Lord, is beyond that. He is the one who created time. He is not fixed by time. So there are astonishing activities. Once Srila Prabhupada gave a lecture in Australia. I guess it was his first lecture in Australia, because it is said that, yeah, we need a translation for Kishori Kund. It is said that the attendants of the class, they saw Prabhupada for the first time. And Prabhupada was lecturing for half an hour, and he was speaking about giant eagles flying from planet to planet, and for breakfast they were eating hordes of elephants. And he was lecturing on that point for half an hour. And then in the end he asked, so, are there any questions? And nobody dared to ask a question. Only one young person dared to lift his finger and ask, Swamiji, I have a question. And Prabhupada said, yes. He said, Swamiji, you spoke about giant eagles flying from planet to planet. He said, yes. And you said they eat hordes of elephants for breakfast? And Srila Prabhupada said, yes. And then that boy said, it's very hard to understand. It's very hard to understand. And Prabhupada's answer was, how can you? You are still in the womb of Mother Earth. You are still in the womb of your mother. You are not yet out of the womb of your mother. You are still in the womb of your mother means he wanted to tell him with that you are still conditioned. We are still conditioned by the three modes of material nature. And as long as we are not free of these conditionings, we cannot fully understand what's really going on. Only someone who is beyond has the perspective to understand that. Like Krishna says in the first verse of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Janmadhyasya yaton Vayadidaratas chartesh abhigya svarat. Yeah, he is abhigya, he is fully knowledgeable about everything. He knows everything, he's the creator, he's the origin of everything. And he is svarat, he is completely independent. But then, in the 9th canto Bhagavatam, in the story of Ambarish Maharaj, where Durvasa Muni was chased by the chakra of the Lord because he made an offense against that great devotee Ambarish, and he wanted to take shelter at the Lord's lotus feet. The Lord told him, I'm sorry, I'm asvatantra. I'm not at all independent. I'm fully dependent on the mercy on the love of my devotees. Yeah? So we have many such incidences which seem to us contradictory. In the Sri Ishopanishad, there is one verse telling us that the Lord moves, but he doesn't move. That the Lord is very far, but at the same time very near. And that the Lord is pervading, and that he is in everything, but at the same time he is outside everything. Also in the Bhagavad Gita, in the 9th chapter, we hear that with his avyakta murti, with his unmanifested form, he's pervading everything. But at the same time, he's outside of everything. So these are contradictions which we cannot really understand. And Jiva Goswami, he writes here, has said that unless the Lord's activities are accepted as inconceivable, they cannot be explained. Yeah. And it was in one of the last lectures of Ananda Krishna Prabhu where he mentioned that sentence spoken by Martin Buber, who said, if God could be understood by us, if I could understand God with my reasoning, with my intellect, I would not believe in him. Yeah. God is great. God is beyond the ability of our tiny little brains to grasp him. Prabhupada said that with our tiny little brains, it's not possible to understand God. There was an incident in Vrindavan after Lord Krishna saved the cowherd boys from Aghasur. He brought them on the banks of the Yamuna. And it was time to have lunch. Yeah. And they were all sitting in circles around the Lord, and the Lord was sitting in the center, and all the boys were thinking, the Lord is sitting just opposite me. No? He's facing me, and he's looking at me. And they were eating, and that was already quite bewildering for Lord Brahma. Because the Lord is said to be Yagya Bhuk. He is eating only in Yagyas. Yeah, when the Brahmanas offer ghee with mantra into the fire, he is offering sacrifices. But there he was eating together with the boys. And not only together with them, they shared their meals. Yeah? They were looking, what did you have, and what did you have, and they shared. Yeah? And then the Lord even, he had a lump of yogurt mixed with rice in his left hand. How is that, no? How uncultured. He doesn't know what is suchi and what is muchi. The left hand, this is actually used for backside business. It's not for food, no, not for eatables. But he had the food in his left hand. This should be God. It's not possible. He has no culture. He couldn't believe that this little boy could be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And it's mentioned by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur that Krishna wanted to have a little fun. It was a little bit too boring for him to sit there with the boys eating prasad, and he wanted to bewilder Lord Brahma. So he called his Satya Sankalpa Shakti and his Lila Shakti and made Brahma try to tease the Lord a little bit. First, the cowherd boys understood our calves have gone far away, and they got a little bit nervous. And Krishna felt immediately something is going on and pacified the boys, said, don't worry, just continue to have your meal. I will go personally to find the calves. And he jumped up and he left. He still had his yogurt rice in his left hand, and he was eating on the way. And like this, he went around looking for the calves. And meanwhile, Lord Brahma took that opportunity to steal away all the cowherd boys and also the calves who were there bound by a rope to the trees. Some of the calves were bound to the trees. And Krishna actually immediately understood what's going on. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, of course, is not bewildered. He immediately understood, this was Lord Brahma. He wants to play a trick. So what did Krishna do? He expanded in all the different cowherd boys. And they had the same features, the same clothes, the same horns, the same jewelry, the same garlands as the original boys. And he continued happily to have their meal with them. And in the evening, they went home, and when the boys came to their mothers, immediately the mothers took the boys on their laps and gave them their breast milk. And their affection towards their boys increased amazingly. They were already very affectionate to their boys, but actually they had more affection to Krishna than to their boys. But now, out of no understanding, their affection grew as big towards their sons as to the Lord. But they could not understand why it was like that. And when the calves came home, also the cows were immediately turning to them affectionately and licking them and giving them their milk in such a quantity what they never gave before. And Balaram, he was not that day out with the other boys. It was his birthday. He was kept home by Mother Yashoda. Rohini. Kept home by Rohini Mata. And he was also bewildered. Can you imagine? We just heard that Balaram is the first expansion. Therefore, Baladev is the first manifestation of Krishna. He is non-different from the Lord. He is the Adhara Shakti. He is that energy which is creating everything what Krishna needs. He's providing the Dham. He's providing all the cowherd boys. No? They are expansions of Lord Balaram. And the flute and the peacock feather and the clothes and everything what Krishna needs, all an expansion of Balaram. It's said that the only difference between Krishna and Balaram is that Balaram is white in complexion and Krishna is blackish in complexion. Yeah. Even in Nandagram, the two of them are blackish on the altar. Yeah. Both are blackish. And just Balaram is a little taller because he's older than Krishna. This is how they can be distinguished. So even Balaram got confused. Even he was bewildered. He could not understand. So if Balaram already is bewildered, then what to speak about us? And this went on for a whole year. A whole year was passing in this situation. And it is said that Yoga Maya was step by step giving Balaram an insight what's actually going on. Not at once. Yeah? Gradually he understood what's going on. He was observing this affection of the mothers towards the boys. And one day, when they went out with the calves, the cows on Govardhan Hill, they saw their calves down in the valley of Govardhan, and meanwhile they had already new calves. But they felt more affection to these older calves than of the young ones. And they ran down that the cowherd boys, they could not hold them. Yeah? They could not even hold them. They ran down. It is said that their tail was upward, their ears were upward, and they were just running down when they saw their calves, their elder calves. And they gave them the milk to drink. And they were licking them like great affection. And Balaram, he couldn't understand. But as Yogamaya gave him free, so to say, uncovered him, then all of a sudden he could see that all of the cowherd boys and all the calves were only nothing else than expansions of the Supreme Lord. And that he was pervading all of them. And after 1 year, it was when Brahma turned back to that spot. Like he took the boys, brought them to the calf, and for him it was just a moment when he turned back to the place where he was before observing the scenery. But on earth, a whole year passed. Yeah? And he turned back and he saw all the boys are still there, but he just took them. And the calves are also there, but he just stole them. They are all sleeping in the cave. Why are they now again here? And he got bewildered. Yeah? And in German we have the saying, wer anderen eine Grube gräbt, fällt selbst hinein. He who digs a hole to the other one to fall in, he himself falls in the hole. Yeah? So Brahma wanted to bewilder Krishna, but now Krishna bewildered Brahma. And he understood actually he must be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yeah? And then he, as we know, in the continuation of the story, he came to apologize. There is the incident in the Damodara Lila where Mother Yashoda, just the day before that pastime happened where the Lord broke the butter pot, she took a little hair ribbon from her hairs and tied it around his waist, and it fitted nicely. Yeah? He was small, he was like 2.5 years old, very small boy. But the next day when he was doing that mischief and he broke the yogurt pot and she wanted to tie him to a mortar, she had all the ropes in her house tied together and it could not fit around his waist. And she even went to the neighbor houses to collect their ropes and connected it, and it was not long enough to bind the Lord's waist. Yeah. And it said the Lord's waist cannot be bound by our endeavor. It can be bound only by prema. Only love can bind the Lord. He cannot be bound by anything else. And then when the Lord saw the intensity of Mother Yashoda's endeavor, yeah, he gave his mercy. It said 2 fingers, the rope was too short. All the time, 2 fingers too short. However many ropes she connected. And then he appreciated her endeavor, which was 100%. She gave everything. She was sweating. The flowers were falling from her hair and she didn't know what to do anymore. Then he gave his mercy and she was allowed to bind him. Then the Lord is the most opulent one. He is Atmakam, Atmaram. He has no desire. He is fully self-satisfied. But still he goes to the neighboring houses to steal butter. Once one of the gopis caught Krishna while he was stealing butter in her house. And she told him, now I will bring you to Mother Yashoda and I will show her that it's you because she doesn't believe that you are doing that. But now I can show her that it's her son and she will punish you. And to make him stay with her, that he cannot run away, she covered him with a blanket. And like that they walked to Mother Yashoda's house. And they entered the Nanda Bhavan and called Mother Yashoda. And the gopi told to her, "See, Mother Yashoda, here is your son. I caught him. He was stealing my butter." And she took away the blanket. And under the blanket was her own son. And she got so much afraid. Oh my God. And she blushed and it was red. And oh, I'm very sorry. Mother Yashoda, some bewilderment was there. I'm sorry. And she left. And Mother Yashoda said, "Don't say that anymore. My son is not stealing in other people's house. He gets enough food at home." And when they were on the way back, her son turned back into Krishna. And he told to the gopi, "Don't do that to me anymore. Otherwise, next time, I will change into your husband." This is how Krishna even bewilders his associates in Goloka Vrindavan. And then how can we understand him in full? He is also Adbhut, he is also amazing in his activities for us. He is performing these contradictory, amazing pastimes, activities for us to increase in our love and devotion towards him, to understand how great God is, how many wonderful aspects he has. He is not boring. He is very loving and playful in nature. And we are asked and we are meant to develop that faith in the Lord and that amazement in regard to his pastimes. There is one very nice pastime which is showing that only with this childlike faith, actually, we have access to the Lord. It once so happened that Narada Muni was on his way and he came across a Brahman who was performing his sacrifices. He was all day long performing sacrifices, chanting mantras. And he saw Narada Muni coming and he called him. And, "Hey Narada Muni, welcome. I have a little request. When you come to Narayan, I know you have free access to Narayan. When you come there next time, please ask him how long it takes until I will be back there again with him." And Narada said, "Okay, I can do that for you." And he continued on his path. And a little further down the road, he met a gobbler. Yeah. He was sitting under a huge banyan tree. And he was repairing shoes. He said, "Hey, Narada Muni, nice to see you. Oh, I understand you are very dear to Narayan. And you have free access to the spiritual world. Please, when you see him next time, can you ask him how long it takes until I'm back with my dear Lord?" And Narada said, "Yes, I can do that for you." Next time, when Narada Muni met with Lord Narayan, he asked, "Oh Narayan, on planet Earth, I met two of your devotees, a Brahman who is engaged in performing sacrifices and reciting mantras all day long. And the other one, a gobbler, is repairing shoes, a very poor but sincere soul. every day sitting under a big banyan tree and repairing shoes. And both of them asked how long it will take until they are back in your home, in your abode. And Lord Narayan, he answered that a Brahman, he will have still many lifetimes. And that gobbler, he will come quicker. When you go down and meet with them, please ask them a question. Ask them to ask why, what I was doing when you met with me. They should ask what I was doing when you met me. And as answer, you should tell them, I was just about to put an elephant through the hole of a needle, to the ear hole of a needle. And by their answer, you will see why the Brahmana has still many lifetimes until he can come, and why the gobbler can come in a shorter time. So Narada Muni went again on his journey through the universe, and he came to the Brahman. And the Brahman was very happily welcoming Narada Muni. He said, and did you visit Lord Narayan? He said, yes. Don't you want to know what he was doing? Yes, what was he doing? He was putting an ear hole he was trying to put an elephant through the ear hole of a needle. And the Brahman said, impossible. Impossible. God has better things to do than to put an elephant through the ear hole of a needle. Did you, by the way, ask him how many lifetimes I still need to be here until I can go back home? And Narada said, oh, Narayan doesn't even know you. You need to spend many lifetimes. And the Brahman became very angry. He said, go out of my sight. Don't want to see you. But Narada understood. He had no faith. He didn't believe that the Lord could also do this amazing fact to put an elephant through the ear hole of a needle. So he understood that Brahman has still to learn a lot. And on his path, he met the gobbler. And the gobbler was also very happy to meet Narada Muni. He asked him, oh Narada, did you meet, meanwhile, on your way, did you went to see Lord Narayan? I said, yes, I saw him. And what did he say? And Narada said, don't you want to know what he was doing? And yes, tell me, what was he doing? And he said, yeah, Lord Narayan, he was just trying to put an elephant through the ear hole of a needle. And the gobbler, he became so amazed. He said, wow, see the greatness of my dear Lord. And Narada said, what, do you believe that? And the gobbler said, of course. See, I'm sitting here every day under this huge banyan tree. And there are seeds of the banyan tree. And they are so small. And in each of these little seeds is such a huge banyan tree. So if the Lord can put such a huge tree in such a small seed, then it's a child's play for him to put an elephant through the ear hole of a needle. Of course he can do that. And Narada Muni said, yes, you will go back after this very lifetime. And there was one more incident, point in the story, that as many leaves as there are on the tree, as many lifetimes you need to stay on planet Earth. But when the gobbler understood that this is very much possible for the Lord to put an elephant through the ear hole of a needle, because he can also put such a huge banyan tree in the seed of a banyan tree. Then a wind came and all the leaves of the tree went, and only one leaf left on the tree. And then the gobbler understood. This is the mercy of my dear Lord. Yeah. And this is this atput, this amazeness, what we are asked to develop towards the greatness of the Lord, towards these contradictory activities of the Lord. This is actually what is developing our loving devotion towards Him. In Sri Ishopanishad, when it is said that the Lord is far away but at the same time also very near, we know that story from Draupadi, who should be disrobed in the assembly of the Kurus. She was trying very hard to hold her sari after she understood that from the audience, from her own husbands and from the teachers like Dronacharya and from Bhishmadev, no help could come, because they were all under the direction of Duryodhana. They were not independent anymore. They could not come to help her. So nobody was there to help. She tried herself with both hands to hold her sari, but it didn't work. Then she took one hand in the air and she called out, "Hey Govinda, hey Gopal." But the Lord did not come. And she took both hands and she let go her sari and she was calling out, "Hey Govinda, hey Gopal." And it is said that in that moment the Lord was sitting with Rukmini and he was playing dice. And Rukmini told him, "My dear Lord, someone is calling for you. You have to go." And the Lord said, "How can I go there? What is the fastest way?" And Rukmini said, "You take Garuda, then you are there immediately." The Lord said, "No, that's not fast enough." And then Rukmini said, "Yeah, but you are already there. You are the super soul." He said, "No, that's not fast enough." And then Draupadi, when she started to cry, the kachal around her eyes was running down her cheeks. And it looked like roads, black roads, created on her cheeks. And the Lord, when he saw that, he said, "This is the road. I can swiftly go there. This is the path I was waiting for. This is now open, now I can go there." This is what, how the Lord is very close to us. When we call out from the bottom of the heart, and it was Gaur Govinda Maharaj who opened the school of crying. Yeah? We have to again learn to cry for the Lord. And then he's very nearby, very close, closer than anyone else. He is there as the super soul in our hearts, and he hears everything, he sees everything. And he is there accompanying us since time immemorial and just waiting for us to turn back to him. Which friend actually is so tolerant and compassionate and passion and has such a patience to stay with us even though we ignore him for so many lifetimes. Yeah. Practically after 2-3 weeks, latest 4 weeks, the best friends, they turn away. He's not caring for me. But the Lord is not doing like that. The Lord is always staying with us and just waiting for us to turn to Him. And He is just performing these amazing pastimes because He is Bhakta Vatsala. He is very lovingly inclined towards His devotees. And He's just performing them to attract the devotees back, to turn back to Him. And this is what we can learn also here in these activities, which might for us be, they may sound contradictory, we may not understand them fully. Yeah? But we are not also meant to fully understand them, but to admire the greatness of the Lord in His abilities, what He is able to do. And this should help us to surrender more to His lotus feet and turn to Him more lovingly. And this is ultimately what we are meant to, no? To become lovers of the Lord. Hare Krishna. This is what I wanted to share with you. Are there any questions or comments? Yes, Gopi.
Thank you for the wonderful class and beautiful pastimes. On this point of, I think you said that this idea of transcendence, as a conditioned soul, we cannot understand it.
Yeah.
And then many pastimes you spoke of, and we enter into that world. Is that how we finally reach over that conditioned self to get to transcendence? Because I feel like I hover between both worlds a little bit, you know?
Thank you for asking this question, Gopi Gita. It said in Bhagavad Gita, Bhaktya mama bhijanati, I can be understood only by devotion. Yeah? Only through devotion we can understand the Lord, as we see manifest in the heart of this poor gobbler who was not learned in Brahminical activities, who didn't know how to chant any Vedic mantras or perform sacrifice. But he had a genuine devotion to the Lord. He understood the Lord is able to bring such a huge banyan tree into such a small seed. He had that adbhut, that amazement. He was able to wonder about the greatness of the Lord. And this is devotion, this is bhakti, this is what helps us to actually then leave the material covering or conditioning behind us and enter the transcendence. It is said also that the material energy is very difficult to overcome. Mama maya duratyaya, very dur, very difficult. Mame vaye prapadante. But if one surrenders unto me, then maya is very easy to overcome. And this surrender is not an act of force. It's an act of wonder, of loving appreciation, of turning towards the Lord because He's so great. And we understand we are so small and insignificant, and the Lord is so lovingly inclined towards His devotees that we are just running to Him. We just want to be in His association. Yeah? And this comes through this amazement and development of our devotion towards the Lord. Then we have access to the transcendence. But with our intelligence, it cannot be grasped. Our intelligence is not made for that. It's material intelligence. It has its boundaries. Yeah? But from a spiritual perspective, there are no boundaries. There we are able to understand from the heart. Is this answering?
So on this point of surrender with Draupadi, it's an interesting point because I'd always understood it as, when she puts both hands up, so that's a big risk, right? The sari's coming off, right? She puts both hands. It's not this case of, oh my God, I've got nothing to lose. It's literally, as you say, different. It's like in the case of Prahlad Maharaj, much more the surrender is just, I'm yours, basically, whatever.
Yes, from different devotees, the Lord may ask to surrender in a different way. And in this incident with Draupadi, he wanted to show the aspect of full surrender, not half. Yeah, we still think, Draupadi was still thinking, I can protect myself. I hold my sari with myself, but still I'm calling out for the Lord. But as long as we think up to a certain point we can protect ourselves, the Lord is not interfering, because one of the Lord's qualities is that he is shy. He's shy. He doesn't want to interfere in our desire to control ourselves. Therefore, he has created this material world where we can think, at least think to be the controllers. And so he's waiting. And even when she let go both hands, even then he did not immediately come, but he waited until tears came down her cheeks. And she really understood, I need help. Yeah. For Prahlad, that was a different story. Prahlad was a surrendered soul from beginning on. He in the womb already, he became a pure devotee of the Lord. He had nothing else in mind. He did not think that he can protect himself. He did not even try to protect himself in all the different activities where his father tried to kill him. He just remained absorbed in meditation of his Lord. So the Lord could not but come and protect him in all these different situations. A different aspect of devotion is shown there, no? Of a fully surrendered soul understanding nothing in this world can protect me. And Draupadi was still thinking, I can protect myself also.
Transitioning.
Yeah, yes. It's a different level. Yes, Brian?
Speaking of inconceivability and how is God's activities or sometimes some words coming from the scriptures that come also for God are difficult to conceive. I had this question for a long time. There are different scriptures that speaks about how doing some certain processes would give you the ultimate benefit, or give you all kinds of benefits. All your ancestors will be liberated, or you perform this and this action and you will get so many boons on it, and they call it Artavada, and it's related also to the fifth offense when we really don't, when we are, for example, in this bhakti path. And we see so many different also statements in which they glorify the path of bhakti, and sometimes consciously or unconsciously we may not believe into that, and we take them as imagination or exaggeration. So what would be how we can understand the difference between such statements in other scriptures, which maybe are in other modes, or like in when they actually maybe exaggerating for the purpose of giving faith to the people to take up on the process, compared to the ones that are in the Bhakti Yoga path, or like from our acharyas. And
as you mentioned, this is Artava. No, this is part of Karma Kanda scriptures, where those on the path of karma yoga, they are aiming at that, no? Or of karma, karma kanda. No, they intend to make some fruitive activities which are also of a benefit for their ancestors or for the future, to reach the heavenly planets. That is there. But for a devotee, that is not something desired. Even to follow Chaturmasya, which we may think this is something spiritual, not to follow the 4 months period of fasting, which was actually performed also by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He fasted the 4 months of Chaturmasya fully. But Prabhupada, he says, for us this is not the path what we go, the path of austerity. We go the path of devotion, of pleasing the Lord. We engage our everything in the service of the Lord, and in this way we don't have to renounce anything. So we go a different path. This artha, vad, things which are promised to us, even if liberation is promised to us, we say no, thank you. Yeah, the only thing we want is devotion to the Lord. It's not attractive to us. This is also some part of aspects of Maya who wants to attract us. See, I have something for you here. I have something for you here. Or maybe this would be attractive to you. Yeah? So that we are not escaping her kingdom. But the devotee says, no, the only thing I want, birth after birth, your devotional service. It doesn't even matter if I have to stay in the material world, but please, my dear Lord, let me always remember you. Yeah? And let me always be in association of your pure devotees. That's all what a devotee don't even desires to go out of this material world. Although Prabhupada said we should have the desire. We are just here like we do our business, like somebody goes to the bathroom, does his business, and then he goes out. But because the world is becoming more and more crazy and more difficult for us to become really Krishna conscious, so we should endeavor in one lifetime. Prabhupada said, if you follow the 4 regulative principles, you chant your 16 rounds on daily basis, I will promise you, and he repeated that 3 times, I will promise you that after this lifetime, you will go back home, back to Godhead. This is there, but in the scriptures also we read that pure devotees, they have not the desire to go back there. They are just happy to, their only desire is to, in whatever condition they are, but to be always able to remember the Lord. Yes?
Is this a result of satisfaction or of humility or of the... As I'm asking, I'm thinking actually they go together also. But like it seems that the gopis are not satisfied when Krishna leaves for Mathura. It seems like that. So
externally and internally, this is for us the difficulty to understand that separation is more blissful than the meeting. Yeah? Because in separation you see your beloved everywhere, but in meeting you have only one Krishna. Yeah? Although it's described that the gopis were suffering and they wanted to commit suicide by going into the Yamuna, no? Because of separation from the Lord. In this material world, for a devotee who is fully self-realized, he has always that association of the Lord. He sees that verse was recited by Akila Prabhu in his class. He mentioned that from Chaitanya Charitamrita, that the pure devotee, Istadeva Spurti, he sees his Lord everywhere. He does not understand like we know, okay, when we look outside, we are not looking anymore as a blunt karmi seeing the trees and the mountains and clouds. We understand this is the Viradrupa. This is the manifestation, a form, a universal form of the Lord. But a pure devotee, he's not even seeing that anymore. He really sees the Lord everywhere. Yeah, not just behind the bushes, but he sees the Lord, and in this way, he is always connected with his Lord. And for him, it doesn't matter to be here or to be there. He is always in the association of the Lord. And wherever the Lord thinks this devotee is doing his seva in that place or in that place, and the devotee is fully satisfied with that. As Srimati Radharani says in the last verse of Shikshastakam, Ashlishya Padartam Pinastam Adharshanam Mahatan Karoto Vayatata Vidratalam Mat Prana Natastu Savanapara. Now you can be Adharshanam, you can not give me your darshan, or you can, like, sometimes it's translated, you can send me to the desert, yeah, you can abandon me, but you will always be my beloved Lord in all circumstances. This is the deep inclination of a pure devotee with the Lord. Yeah?
Yeah, just a short question. For the ropes of these two fingers, this was endeavor and mercy, or what
Yes.
was the
Endeavor and mercy.
endeavor and mercy?
Endeavor and
Sorry.
mercy.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh. It's not enough our endeavor, it always needs the Lord's mercy also. Otherwise, it would be an aroha panta. Aroha panta means by our own ability we are able to reach perfection. But it's an avaroha panta, means the mercy comes from the spiritual world and lifts us up.
Therefore, it's said in our tradition, I think was it Ananda Krishna who spoke about the monkey.
Yeah,
and the cat?
he mentioned that in the Ramanuja,
Yeah.
a lion who was splitted.
Yeah.
But both actually,
For us, it's both.
I mean, both of these lines are Vaishnavas.
Yeah.
But still, one of them considers their path as the monkey path, the Aroha Panta. But for us, Gaudias, we see it as the Avaroha Panta. We are the little kitten in the cat's mouth who is carried. No?
I heard that we basically have to adopt both of them, because endeavor and mercy.
Endeavor is
and mercy,
there.
and endeavor is, you holding on to the mother.
Yeah, in that sense, you can say it's a combination of
Yes,
both. But
yes.
ultimately, it's the mercy what lifts. Most probably, we will not be able to become sadhana siddhas, but we have a chance to become kripa siddhas now. This is how we can just, like Draupadi, stand there and call out for the mercy of the Lord.
Yeah. No, but it was explained because in this two, Mother Yashoda had the endeavor and the mercy, these two fingers, and this the two paths of what we have to make an endeavor. We have to show something. So therefore means we have to hold on. I mean, the endeavor compared with the holding on the monkey,
yes.
or on the path, on the process, on the sadhana, or whatever you put it.
Sure.
And then the mercy.
And then the mercy comes.
Adds the rest.
Yes. Mhm. Thank you. Yes, Subal. It's already late, but.
I have a little bit of a, let's say, doubt with this quote of Srila Prabhupada. He said 16 rounds and 4 regulative principles, but sometimes he also said in lectures, all the material desires need to be nil, otherwise you need to come again. So maybe you can explain a little bit, Mataji, how is it to be understood?
Srila Prabhupada said, 100% you have to be pure devotees to go back to the spiritual world. And then the devotees were telling him, Prabhupada, this is not possible for us. How we will be able to be fully pure devotees? And then he said, 90%. Prabhupada, this is still too much, no? And I think he went down on 80% or 75, I'm not sure. Something like that. he made a concession. He came down. And this is actually the bonus and the chance for us. When we stick to Prabhupada, it's like we hold his dhoti, no? We are in line of the disciples of Prabhupada. This is our guarantee. Prabhupada promised us that we will be able to go back home, back to Godhead. It is Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, for example, who said it needs 3 lifetimes. Now, in one lifetime we will be on the level of a Kanishta, in the other lifetime on the level of a Madhyam, and in the third lifetime we will be the Uttam, and then we will be able to leave this material world. But Prabhupada, he came down. No? He also adjusted the 64 rounds on 16 rounds. This is the power of an Acharya. And because he is so dear to the Lord follows what the Acharya says. This is a matter of faith. It's our Shraddha. And if we faithfully follow in Prabhupada's lotus feet, that means following our spiritual masters and following Prabhupada's instructions, then it's like Draupadi. We just surrender, and the rest is done by Prabhupada and the Lord. Yeah. Grantara Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Premanandi. Gaur Bhakta Vinda.
Still holding on to Prabhupada's mercy, and there's also some kind of, holding on. And then,
Yes, it's also the endeavor. This endeavor has to be there.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Endeavor to hold on.
Yeah, and then mercy, the cause of holding on.
And then yes, our endeavor has to be there.
Even if I'm a stupid kid in school and the teacher sees that I'm trying, that I write endeavor, then he gives me mercy and it's, how to say, da fühle ich dann herzlich über die Note drüber geben.